I want to cover several things here. First, it's cooled down considerably. It's nice hiking weather. Through the midweek, it's going to get in the 90s, but it's just a peak. Nights cool down real good if you want to hike somewhere. You get started early, you get it done by midday, you're fine. Especially if you're acclimatized, you've come from a eastern climate or some other part of the world that gets cold. And cold by real world standards, it's a little bit warm, but I was born here, I'm used to the heat, so the 90s is no big deal. Next thing, as I was coming over here, they had Van Buren, the cops had Van Buren blocked off. I'm gonna come over to Van Buren, come up Dysart, and come around this way. But I ran around a different direction and talked to the cop. I had to go back through one of the barricades. I tried to get over here from a different direction, and I talked to one of the kids to move the barricade to let me out. And I asked him, I said, is there an accident there in Van Buren? He goes, no, it was a homicide. I said, oh my. I said it was a road rage, that type of thing. They had one yesterday, like about Dysart and Thomas. So it's getting to be a mean world. Hey, if you get in an incident with somebody, I think it's going to escalate to road rage. Just say, hey, look, I'm going to take off, and we'll go get a cop, and let a cop, we'll handle this. Let's not let this escalate into a road rage situation. Don't let your emotions get the better of you. If you're in a wreck, set the car, lock your doors, and say, look, I'm calling the police, and the police will settle this. They need to anyway, especially for like insurance and stuff. You need to have the police there to make a final report, make a police report. Irregardless if you think you're at fault or somebody else is at fault, don't let this escalate into road rage. Of course, I think most people try to keep a cool head. There's only a handful of people, the real hotheads, that just escalate into a road rage situation. That's all the details I know, and that last thing I'm going to cover for Money and Beyond Van Life. Chick, I was serious if you want me to help you hook up that water heater. I'm pretty sure that I could help you, figure something. I need to sit down and figure out exactly how you're going to use it, and I think I could probably, we need to go get a few other parts, and if we got to know each other after a few days, and you thought we'd work together, maybe we could do, short overnighters here and there. Let me get to the Tonopah Witch. I haven't covered her. I've talked about her, but I haven't really. I've got a video from maybe a couple years ago I talked about her. There's a number of prevalent theories. Now, I'm not going to state what my personal knowledge is, what my personal beliefs are on who she is or who she might be. Now, the theory is that I was out there in Tonopah. Now, this goes back into 60s, 70s. Some people, there's a theory that she's some chick that liked to go out there and do drugs. Sometimes people would join her. She had a cave out there she'd live in. Some people think she'd just go out there and smoke weed, maybe drop acid every now and then. Somebody take her drugs and food and stuff. That was one theory, that she died back in the 70s. A theory that, several theories of who she might be. That she might be immortal. She might have been someone that had actually been part of Atlantis. And she knows where the energy centers are, the power centers. Now there are, the vortexes. There are vortexes out in the Tonopah area. Take it from. Now I've hiked out in there. I know there are vortexes out there. They're not as well known, but there are, like Sedona-like vortexes, just not as well known. That she knows where some of these. Well, they're not just in Tonopah. They're not just in Sedona. There's a number of areas throughout the country, throughout the world. They're just the people that know about them keep them secret because they don't want these areas, they don't want Sedona or Tonopah to become into another Sedona. They don't want it to be way commercialized. If you've ever been to Sedona on a weekend where it's bumper-to-bumper traffic, just a nightmare going through there. Now, like I said, I'm not going to tell you if I know who this witch is. Well, that I shouldn't really call her a Tonopah witch. That's just a popular name, but she might actually be a really, really decent lady that values her anonymity. Now, there's one theory that she bumped into a guy while she was out there hiking one time. That this guy was in his 90s. He just kind of went out in the desert and be like his last trip, and he didn't want to die in an old folks home. I mean, this is one story that she bumped into him, turned him on to the power centers, and that they're, let's say they're hanging out together, that well, let me tell you the story that they're living in a old Ford van. He does part-time mechanic work. He'll do various oddball jobs too, to buy food and gas money and stuff, and she'll do house setting and pet setting and stuff. That's the latest theory on who she might be. Now, I'm not going to tell you if I know her or not, because I may or may not have, provided her a gentleman's agreement to that maybe she'd give me some information, and for exchange, I agreed to keep her private, not to identify who she is. That may be the truth. That may be a total piece of fabrication. It may just be something I find an interesting story that's a total piece of fiction, or it might be, but if somebody wants to go out there hiking with me, now if you promise to not to reveal the truth, if you go out there and hike Tonopah, Saddle Mountain, I enlighten you to the truth, whatever it may well be. Bye-bye. Love y'all.